grass and trees, they speak to me. They whisper in my ear that I am here. She touches me so sincerely in places I can't hide. She flips the page, reading the words. To you I can't confide. She's on my side. You're still swaying in the breeze. I'm restless, begging for her please to take me. You keep me warm and safe inside. The air we share is purified. But I hear her howling out my name against the window panes. Come out and play. Don't be tamed. You're still swaying in the breeze. I'm restless, begging for her please. You're still just floating through the breeze. I'm restless, begging for her please to take me.
You would do anything for gummy bears, so
That's a good,
it's a hack.
good hack. Yeah, I realized last night too that you had you're a famous YouTuber too. I had no idea. How do you feel about that now, looking back at that time in your life?
It's funny. It was such a big part of my life from when it lasted from when I was like 10 to pretty much 10 to 15. I did that every weekend. I would be filming. And it was a nice experience because it was like family friends who pitched the show with me, who was like an attention hog little kid who loved crafts. And I was like, there'll be a camera. And it blew up for some reason. It became like really popular, and I still get like a lot of messages from people who are now my age, who are like, well, they watched it at the same age as I was growing up, but I don't know, it's weird to think about. I was really embarrassed about it for a while because if you look at it, it's just a little cringe, but it's funny, but it's also charming because I was a child and I cut myself some slack. But then once I turned like 14, 15, I was like, oh, I can't make these jokes anymore. I can't play them off. I can't make a lot of puns. Can't get away with making all these puns because that was like a big part of the show. It was just me being goofy, which I still like to think I am, but I can't get away with so many puns on a daily basis.
So you recognized at a certain point that you wanted to like do something else?
Well, I could have gone off to. I could have kept doing the show and been homeschooled, or I could have stopped doing the show and go to high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to be normal.
Yeah.
So I went to high school, and that was a good choice.
How do you like feel about what you do now versus then, like creatively? Is it like very different, do you think?
I think, well, I guess animation is also very crafty, so maybe I'm just inherently crafty. My mom is a visual artist, so she's always been like so encouraging, and also has so much random shit around the house that we like to play with. Yeah, but also I think what I like to write is a bit more dark, even if it's like fun or for kids, but just like there's more like darker themes than kind of the person that I was portrayed to be, like film goer's companion.
Oh, that's in English too, isn't it? Forward by Alfred Hitchcock.
I love English. Oh my god, it was before they died. It says this phenomenally popular Liverpoolian singing group consists of John Lennon, 1940 on, George Harrison, 1943 on, Paul McCartney, 1942, and Ringo Starr, Richard Starkey.
Swinging so high from the big tree, cells in my stomach reassembling, sister laughing hysterically, playing in my head on repeat. Made it to safety in the big bed, hoarding all the space with my little legs, recounting everything that I ever said. Kick the covers as I overheat. AC washes over me. We made our mark in the wet cement. Don't that make us permanent? Dog toys still tanning on the roof. I lived here. Now I'm supposed to be a big kid, tear down the dollhouse and be rid of it, grow out of everything we did. When you cut a stump, the roots run dry. If the tree won't go, neither will I. We made our mark in the wet cement. Don't that make us permanent? Crush carved into the olive trunk. I lived here, 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 I lived here.
I think the stories I write for film or the screenplays I write they're based on like a feeling I have or an experience I witnessed, but they're not really about me ever, whereas my songs are usually about a feeling I'm trying to work out with myself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
How in City Bird, how personal do you think that movie was?
It was personal in terms of how I felt about living in a city, but also I think it's a universal experience that I tried to point out through pigeons. But the personal aspect of that is that I had a pet pigeon in quarantine, and so I have always noticed pigeons on the street a little more closely than other people.
Yeah.
And so, like, sometimes I'll be having a conversation with somebody and I'll just be disassociating watching this pigeon who's, like, limping next to me, and I just, like, can't help but really think about it.
But yeah, that's super true about pigeons, especially like looking at their feet.
Yeah.
The variety of different kinds of like mutated pigeon feet.
Well, the main reason pigeons have such mutated feet is because of human hair.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, yeah.
And that, when I learned that, I was like, it all came together. It's like, god damn, because we used to love them. They used to be our friends, our companions, our messengers, or like we used to respect them so highly, and now they're just like, I don't know, now they're pests, but we see them every day. I don't know, I think they deserve more respect.
I agree.
Keep you here inside my jeans, breathing with a battery. Might never know what you mean to me if I only let you out to sea. My lust rot in the compost bin, secrets fermenting within. Apple cores and orange skin, juices dripping down my chin.
So desensitized to them, or at least I guess I was. They're in LA, they're in Boston, they're in New York. They're like, when I was in Boston, I went to New York to film, to record sounds of pigeons. I went to visit a friend, but I also brought my Zoom, and I ran around Central Park like a crazy woman, like with a baguette, throwing things at pigeons and then like creeping up on them and then having them fly away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. We have a lot of similarities between them, I feel like. They just experience urban life a lot more up close and personal, but
yeah,
kind of doing the same things we're doing every day. Yeah,
it's true. Have you noticed any differences in pigeons in different cities that you've been to or lived in?
The gnarliest ones are here. They like, in terms of like health and how they look. I went to Spain. They were pretty healthy. Looked well fed. They had all their toes.
One time I was with my kid in Barcelona, and he was chasing after the pigeons, and this old lady got really mad at me as the parent for allowing my kid to chase after the pigeons. So maybe they
have more respect.
Have more respect for the pigeons in Barcelona than in Paris.
Yeah, like Bob Dylan. In LA, they're like, it's interesting because there's so much nature surrounding them, but then they still congregate in the cities, like the city areas. And how I found my pigeon was walking down the street, and there's a flock of pigeons above me, and then a hawk flew in, grabbed one out of the flock, and like threw it on the ground in front of me.
That's traumatizing.
It was crazy. And you always see them together, and I just wonder how their interpersonal relationships are. Amongst each other. And their lives, like, they should live like 15 to 20 years. But in the city, they live like 3.
I can feel falling into nothing. Oh, can you hear me calling? I'm dying to say
I mean, they're smart, and like I had my pigeon for like 2 months, and she was like really aware. Like her wing was messed up, so she wouldn't fly away, but she would just walk around in the backyard. She'd like come in and like not like peck on the door to come inside, like watch a movie with us.
Really?
Yeah.
How would she watch your movie with you? Like sit?
She would sit on my shoulder.
That's
and,
really cute.
And also in my it was during COVID, so I had Zoom class, and she would just be like on my shoulder or my head.
Oh my gosh. And how did that affect you? Like, you felt like you had like a close relationship with your pigeon?
Yes, I had a friend. I had a best friend.
Change you in some way?
I mean, my grandma has lived with us, and she's very old, so COVID was like very strict for us. We did not go out or have anyone come in, so she was really my companion at the time. And she would play with my dogs too. It was crazy. Like, first they were trying to eat her, but then she would like whack them with her wing, her good wing.
Yeah.
And then they knew who was boss.
Oh, cool. Wow, so the pigeon was the leader.
Yeah.
Above the dogs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, pigeons are pretty fierce little creatures.
They're resilient.
They have to be resilient to live in a city.
Mm-hmm. And they come from like seaside rock cliffs. So like they would live in these kind of holes and like under rocks, all in this like what looks like an apartment building, but like naturally formed. And so that's why they like hang out in these like facades and stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The pigeon lore goes deep.
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of research for my film. I always thought my pigeon would come back to me, but like knew where my house was, but I guess she never flew to my house, so like I took her to my house in a box. So when she was free, because I would take her to the park to like see if she would find her friends, and then after like the third or fourth park visit, she flew away.
She just flew away. Was that sad?
Yeah, I cried.
I bet, yeah. How long did you have the pigeon for?
Like 2.5 months.
2.5 months.